If you had £300 a month to spend on a car, what would you do? Would you lease something brand new? Would you take a personal loan and get something a little bit older? Or would you buy the cheapest car you could find, pocket the difference and hope to make a profit? And if you watched the last video, you'll know that I chose option 3. That's right, behind me is my 2008 Ford Mondeo that I bought for £200. That's right, I bought this 2008 Ford Mondeo Titanium X Estate for £200. When I bought it, it had 213,000 miles on it. The MOT was due in less than a month. In the last video, we took a look around this car and looked at all the good things. But as I said, this thing is due an MOT. WeBuyAnyCar.com offered £200 on this car, and that was before they'd seen it, so the chances are they would have knocked it down. I had to buy it because, to be fair, this car probably would have got scrapped. Now in this video we're going to have a look and see whether or not scrapping this would have been the best option. And that's it, the Mondeo is going up on the ramp behind us. It's time for its MOT. Is it going to pass? Fingers crossed, guys. This £200 Mondeo could be an absolute bargain, or this could get very expensive very quickly. Wish me luck. Okay, that is not what I was expecting. We've got some work to do on this Mondeo, so let's get this to the barn and then we'll go through the MOT and look at everything that came up and see what we need to do to keep this thing on the road. Guys, I'll see you at the barn. And while I back this into the barn, you've got just enough time to subscribe to the channel and press the bell notification to be notified next time we upload a video. And now we're back at the barn, we can go through the MOT sheet on this car. And believe it or not, guys, it passed. That's right, the Mondeo has got a fresh 12-month ticket on it. So let's have a look at all the things that were advised, because we're going to need to crack on with some of these jobs in the next coming weeks and months. So we'll start at the front and then we'll work backwards. So first thing was the front number plate, slightly deteriorated, but not likely to be misread. And it's where the screws have obviously rusted down through here. I mean, that one's not so bad. I'm guessing this is the one that that he took issue with. So let's see if we can just polish that off, or has it actually all rusted inside the number plate and it's going to need changing. So let's have a look. So what do you think? Is it going to clean, or is it all inside the plate? Okay, so actually a little bit of polish and it is a lot better, but you can see where all the rust has actually got inside the layers of the number plate, and that won't polish out. But look, it's better than it was, so that would technically do for another year, but ideally we should change these plates out for some fresh new ones. Next up, we've got the offside drive shaft in a CV boot is slightly deteriorated, or is deteriorated, something along those lines, but it's not allowing dirt in. It's just, yeah, it's on its way out. So having a look in here, so we can see in here that it's flicked a little bit of grease out, but not a lot. And you can see the boot itself is pretty solid. So it's got just a small little hole somewhere. So yeah, there we go. You can see it's just leaking a little bit out of here. So I can't get my fingers in there, but it is letting the grease out somewhere. So we're either going to have to change the boot or change the shaft. I've had a quick look online. A replacement shaft is only about £55 delivered. So that might actually be the easiest option, just to pop this one out and pop the new one in. So far, we've got a possible spend of £55 to put this right. And next up, we've got some chips in the windscreen. These have been here for a few years. One of them looks particularly bad, but we've got this one down here at the bottom, which I might want to get that one looked at and see if it can be filled. We've got one over here. That's it, just there. And then we've got this one kind of more on the driver's side. I don't even know what it costs to get stone chips fixed, because yeah, every time I've had it done, it's been under an insurance. But as I say, I don't have glass cover on my policy. So yeah, we're gonna have to get that looked at. We'll come back to that in another video. And next up, we've got the rear position lights. Now, as you can see behind me, they're okay. And I think you've got the rear fog light in this one, which is a little bit faint compared to the other side, but that's going to need changing. Now, to fix that, I'm going to need a new bulb holder, which is about £31. Then I'm going to need a new section of wiring and a plug to put that in. That's going to cost me around 12. So For about £43, I can get that fault fixed. Next up, we've got the rear exhaust heat shield is squeaking. I mean, it's annoying, but really, is it an MOT advisory? So looking under here, one of the brackets has rusted away, and so it means that heat shield is just flapping around underneath and squeaking. It's even more annoying when you open and close the doors because it squeaks when you slam the door, and also when you turn the car off when you've pulled up somewhere. When the car shudders, when it shuts off, the heat shield squeaks, drawing attention that really isn't wanted. Now you can see at the front that the heat shield there is starting to come away from its mount. So what we've done here is we've just put a bit of plastic and a bigger screw to hold that heat shield in place. It's not pretty, but it'll do the job. Okay, and the next two advisories are back down underneath the car, but I got distracted. My brother not only is an expert Mondeo driver of many years, but he's also a world champion barbecue chef and has cooked up something that smells very, very tasty. It's hard life being at the barn, but at least we get fed well. So back underneath again, we've got advisories on those bushes on the rear arms. They've been advised for about 5 years. And I did speak to the tester about it, and he said, well, look, they look a bit crusty, but there's no movement and they're perfectly solid. So he's advised them again, but they're really nothing to worry about. Other than that, we've got some corrosion on the rear springs. Now, again, it's a bit of surface rust. At the moment, nothing to worry about, but definitely something worth keeping an eye on. And last up, we've got a leak from the exhaust, but it actually turns out it's blowing from one of the sleeves that's slightly corroded. Lunch is served. I think I should put some gloves on to eat this because this is going to go all over my hands and my top. But anyway, cheers guys. And now we've seen everything that's wrong with this car, the least we can do is give it a quick service. That's right, this car was serviced every year when the MOT was done, so it means it's due. We're just going to do an oil and air filter service, so we're going to swap those out. Now, the air filter, it's nice and easy. You've just got to take these screws out here, and this pops off, and then you drop the new unit in. And then the oil filter, we need to get underneath and drop the oil, and then we'll swap the filter over. So the cost to do this, the air filter was, actually it was expensive for an air filter. Maybe I'm just used to cheap ones on VWs, but the air filter was £21. And then the oil filter was £9. So we spent £30 on that. And then for the oil, we need 5.9 litres of 5W30 oil. So I ordered these big blue drums. I mean, they're not that big, they're 20 litres, because I knew we were going to need this oil for the Mondeo, the Freelander, the Minis. It all takes the same oil. It made sense to order it in bulk. So these drums cost £40 on eBay. So we're looking at about £2 a litre. So it means we're putting £12 worth of oil in here. So it means that we'll have serviced this car for £42. Dropping the oil on these is super straightforward. It's a bunch of 10 mils to drop the under tray. And then with that out the way, you've just got to take the sump plug out, or loosen it off, pop the oil pan underneath it, unbolt the sump plug, and drop the oil. Simple. Now while that oil drains out, we're going to swap that air filter over. Like I said, it's just undo those Phillips, are they Phillips? Yeah, undo those Phillips screws on the top of the airbox to take the lid off, and then we'll pull the filter out. And just like that, we've got the old filter out. So again, really straightforward, and it's not actually in that bad a condition. I guess it was only changed, I don't know, 8,000 miles ago. I can't quite remember, but obviously it was changed in the last year. So yeah, with that gone, I mean, it is quite a chunky filter. Just locate those tabs on the bottom, drop it in, and we'll just we'll screw the top back up and it's done. To unbolt the oil filter housing, it's really straightforward. It's just a 27mm socket on a ratchet, and it comes out nice and easy. Loads of room down here, unlike the Land Rover Freelander. And that's it. With the filter out, we're ready to put the new one in. With the filter out, it's really important. Again, same as the Land Rover, you've got to swap out, or with any car really, you've got to swap out this little rubber O-ring here. New one comes with a filter, so we're just going to flick that off and swap it over to make sure it seals properly.
And once you've put the new O-ring back on, it's important just to wipe round with a bit of oil just to lubricate it when it goes back in. Then pop the filter back into the housing cap, and then you just need to slide it down between the rad pack and the engine, locate it and just tighten it back up, first off by hand, but then with the 27mm socket, and you're done. And with the sump plug back in, the oil filter housing on, it's time to pour in that 5.9 litres of fresh golden oil.
And we'll just check the dipstick. Okay, so with the oil and oil filter changed, the air filter changed, it's time to put the service light out, and then I think we can get this on the road. Now, before I get out of here, there's two other things that I forgot to mention. So there's that exhaust clamp that we need to change. So we'll get that ordered up. I think these are 2.5-inch exhaust clamps, and it's going to cost us around about £12 for a cheap one. So again, not a massive job. And then the rear brake pads were mentioned that they are a little bit low. Still perfectly safe and legal, but they're going to need attention going forward. So I think, budget permitting, further down the line, we'll have a look at all of the brakes and see if there's anything we can do. Now, the sun's starting to go down up here at the barn, so we should probably make a move. So what have we spent? Well, we've done the oil and filters today. So that was, what was it? £42. So for £42, we've serviced the car. Obviously, we've gone round, it's had a visual inspection, and the MOT was £30. So that means we're into this car at the moment for £72. Yep, £72 plus the £200 purchase price. So that means we've got £328 to spend on repairs. But looking at it, £55 for a drive shaft, £12 for an exhaust joint, and a couple of bits here and there. I don't think we're going to spend all of that budget. So that means after 2 months, we're in profit from running an old Mondeo. So guys, it's been a day of it. We've seen everything that's wrong with this Mondeo. We've given it a quick service as well. And I think next time round, we know what we need to spend. So look guys, it's getting late. It's getting dark and it's getting cold. So with that in mind, I'm gonna head home. Thanks ever so much for watching. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.